And we're here. Hi. uh, call aboard. Okay, now I'm gonna kill the music because I did the thing. Music, stop it. Music, stop it. Music, stop it. Man, it's been a while since I heard that song, huh? Hi. Uh, hi, everyone. I am Ryan Espen. If you're in the chat, let me know if you could hear me. Because audio can be funky. I'm Ryan. I am one half of the Tabletop Express. Um, and I am here today to talk about board games with all you. This is a segment we do on the channel called Call Aboard. Uh, Call Aboard is a segment where you can call in legit, like you can call in. Hang on, wait, I have it. It's right here. Join us at streamyard.com/CT4HDUZ5QC. Join us there. Pretty easy, rolls off the tongue. Very easy to remember that URL. um, and yeah, this is exciting. We've delayed this video for a while. We were supposed to do this video on May 31st, but we had a delay because the following day my daughter was born. So hey, so we've pushed it off. So that means tomorrow should be 4 weeks, which is pretty exciting. But it's all right. We're here to talk board games today. It's my turn to get away for a little bit from all my responsibilities for now. So I do have to thank my mother-in-law for helping out right now because she's with my wife watching the baby. Okay. So, anyways, we are going to be talking about the topic of today is Cult of the Old. Now, this is a topic I always like talking about. I love talking about older board games. It's just my thing. If you've played board games with me, you know it's just my thing. Um, so I do want to tell you guys how this works. This is the call-in show, and you can call in and talk about an old game that you love, something that is 10 years older, preferably. You could also talk about a game that you played maybe as a kid growing up, you know, or what brought you into the hobby. Those are all some good categories for cults of the old, maybe something that you revisited after hearing about. I have stories about that too. Um, or you could also just talk about I always invite people to talk about games that are new to them for this year. So, and in particular this month. So, something that stood out to you in the month of June, what stuck out to you in terms of a play. I have some stuff for that topic. I'm happy to talk about it. And I'm happy to bring people on. So if you want to stick in the chat, you're more than welcome to. I see Brian Chandler here. Hi, Brian. I see Ryan Clement Squirrel here. Hey, hey. And the Eclectic Camel, who likes talking about old board games and shaking my fist at the sky. Yeah, for real. You know, I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like mowing my lawn. That's for sure. But it is an old man thing to do. So, board game dads in the chat with yeah, you missed. Did you miss? Were you there when I did it? I did it. I did the call aboard in the beginning, but I'll do it again just for you. Ready? Call aboard, and I'll do that for every time someone joins. So if you like that, let me know, and if you don't like that, let me know, because I don't know how I feel about doing that yet. Okay, but let's talk about old board games. I don't know if you guys saw on the cover of the video, the cover game that I have on there is Raw. Now, I haven't played Raw yet. Well, sort of a lie. I did play Raw once. So Raw, for those of you that don't know, is the classic Reiner Knizia auction game. This is the box of Raw right here, and this is actually the copy that I played. This copy right here is what I played way back when. So much so that I don't know how to rate it because it was very early on in my board games. Oh, I still have this on. Whoop. And thank you. He loves it. Thank you. um, and with Raw, It's an auction game from Reiner Knizia, and Reiner Knizia is, of course, probably the most prolific board game designer who has ever crossed paths out there, right? He's made so many different games. We're talking Lost Cities, we're talking Tigris and Euphrates, we're talking The Quest for El Dorado, Blue Lagoon, Through the Desert. There's tons. There's whole videos about just his board games. They're all his board games are pretty great. So Ra is having a reprint coming out from 25th Century Games. It was just on GameFound. I wish I had the link. It's somewhere in here. But it is this gorgeous looking Ian O'Toole cover. Well, I mean, that's subjective, right? I think it's gorgeous looking. That's the Ian O'Toole cover for the reprint of Ra. And that kind of was the inspiration for today's topic, Cult of the Old, because not only is it an old game, but there's this concept in board gaming that I'm sure all you know, right? Cult of the New, where we need to focus on like the new game that's coming out. So that's why I think Cult of the Old is pretty cool because it's a newer reprint of an old game, and I like that. And it's not the only one that's coming out. I'm sure you guys know of many games that are doing that, but with Ra in particular, it made me want to revisit some of Dr. Knizia's other works. So if you've played any Knizia games, by the way, too, feel free to comment them in that chat. Um, and if you do want to talk with me on camera or not on camera, you want to just call in, you can go to that link that I have right on the bottom to join us, or at the very top of the chat. If you don't want to type that all in, you can just click the link that we provided up above. So, anyways, I haven't played Ra, but on Board Game Arena, I did play Tigris and Euphrates. I'm not sure if any of you've played Tigris and Euphrates at all, um, but it is great. Oh, wait, we do have a comment about Ra that you need to try Ra again, and I'm in the same camp. So much so that I just backed it. You know, um, I just backed it on GameFound, and when it comes, it comes, and then I'll try it again. There's a board game shop not too far from here that has a copy in their library. But I just life is busy, and it's not on Board Game Arena, so I can't play it async. Um, but Tigris and Euphrates is now, so that's cool. Tigris and Euphrates is the probably Reiner Knizia's um, board game that has the highest accolades out there. It's in the top 100. It was recently out of the top 100 and it went back into the top 100. It's a tile laying game where you are basically controlling parts of the board. Man, it's funny. You ever go look at an image on Board Game Geek and you hit go to zoom in and it's the same exact size? That's exactly what just happened with this picture. um, Let me find a better picture in the meantime. But in the game, you are trying to take over the board with different tiles, and you're placing your leaders, which are these different pogs, out adjacent to different parts of the tiles. And every time you place down a tile, if you have a leader that corresponds to that color of tile you placed, you're going to gain a point, which is represented by these cubes. There's 4 different suits of cubes. There's red, blue, green, and black. And what's really interesting about this is that you are going to collect victory points at the end of the game based on what set of cubes you have the fewest of. So if I have 6 reds, 6 blues, 12 black, and 2 greens at the end of the game, I got 2 points because at most I had 2 greens. So you can't focus on just one thing. You have to diversify. Not only that, you can't really get attached to any part of the board because as the game goes on, bits of the board will just start wiping away. They'll just start wiping away, and you need to take your leader off and put it on other parts of the board, because per block of blocks, there's only one leader per color. So there's only one red leader, one blue leader. I mean, one blue leader, one green leader, and one black leader of the players. So if there's ever a case where there's 2 or more, you go into what's called a war or a revolt, where you get to basically bid to see who retains dominance in that spot, and then the loser goes. Yeah, and that's Tigris and Euphrates. It's on Board Game Arena. I am awful at it. Like I'm really bad at this game, but I really like playing it because it's just so weird, and I like weird. I like weird and I like unique, like heavy player interactive kind of things, and I feel like that's a running theme with a lot of some of the older games for sure, where it's just a constant like ways on how can we manipulate and make this an engaging interaction for all the players of the board. And I feel like that's something that we don't see a lot in modern board games. Oh, we do have a comment saying that his newer stuff hits more with me than his older stuff did. You know, and I have to say of his newer stuff, I mean, Quest for El Dorado, I think is fantastic. It's a great deck builder. It's a race one. Um, I have a great time with that one for sure. But I do want to steer this away for 1 second because because we have our first caller calling in. Now, it's tradition that the first caller is always a plant, and this is the plantiest plant you'll ever plant in the world because he is the other half of the Tabletop Express. He is the tabletop to my express. We have Mr. Chris Barrows. Hi.
Hey,
I
how
just
are you?
scooped you in. Didn't give you a chance. Here, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. If you
I
got him,
I
cheers.
I didn't wear a hat yesterday. I had internet issues, so I'm hoping. I think it was a curse. So
Just because I have a headset, I can't answer your internet issues, sir.
I know. No,
Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
how are you? It's good to be back.
It is
I
good
have
to
to
be back.
say, I was back yesterday with Board Game Dads, and it was the first time I've been on in like 3 weeks.
He knows you.
Yeah, he does.
Oh
But it's
yeah, let
cool.
me do the thing. So everyone give a welcome to Chris Barrows. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Call aboard.
Yeah,
Oh jeez.
and look, I stress that I'm like still half functioning, but I was glad that this was the topic because
Well, you
I
helped me
can
pick it.
yeah, I know, but I was glad also because I can hit on two things. I can hit on new to me
Hmm.
more recently and old game in one, and it's all because of you.
Oh, I know what you're picking.
So I have to bring this up. I apologize. Behind me is a disaster. So
I know exactly what you're picking. There it is. The
there it
ugliest.
is.
That
I
is Chucky
yeah,
Mags, Careless
Lucky
Magnus.
Mike. I don't know. You introduced me to this game and I fell in love with it. Though I fell in love with the variation rule that exists for it
Well, let me cut you.
because
Let me cut you off
yeah,
then. I'm cutting you off because I don't want to take credit for the name Chucky Mags. Chucky Mags, I heard about. That's the nickname for Careless Magnus. It's a board game by Leo Colovini.
yeah.
That is a nickname given by the podcast So Very Wrong About Games. And look at this game. This is Chucky Mags right here. It doesn't look like much. You know, you have pieces of pinks and yellow meats over in the corner over there, and you have different cones taking up different hexagons. It's kind of like a parody of what people see in modern board games, right?
You could make this game
It's cones of
out.
Dunshire.
Yeah, you could make this game with pieces from all your other games, quite frankly, and it would still be amazing. It's I think like a 6.8 on BGG, but I
Yeah.
don't care about BGG rankings on this because I assume a lot of people play that with the base game. And the way you introduced me to it took away the roll of the dice to get what you get and gave you an option to at least get a little bit more control. And it was just 10 times better
Oh
because
yeah.
we've played online and I don't, with the dice, it's so random. But the idea in this game that you're trying to take over all these different
Yeah, I'll put the picture on the board.
yeah, that'll help. So you're collecting these cubes and placing them and trying to have more of them or more control. And as you're doing it, you can also choose to place them on the actual piece. What do we call the pieces? They're cities essentially, right? Or
They're regions. Regions.
regions. That's it. But so as you have more control of certain colored cubes, you could also have your opponent putting a different colored cube that you don't have more control of, making it harder to take over these spaces. And it's it's a really intriguing back and forth that I really enjoyed, and I think it's no secret I like a good 2-player game.
Yeah, no.
So
Which I want to interrupt you 1 second. I do want to say hi to Steve. Hi, Steve.
hi, Steve.
He's a Ghostbuster pal of mine.
Oh, nice.
Anyways, yeah.
No,
Continue, sir.
no, but no, I just want to say you interested me in this game. It really the concept's very simple.
Yeah,
Once you actually kind of get the game down, you're trying to take control of these. And what's so cool, one of the neat moments, I think it comes really with playing the physical version, quite
yeah.
frankly, because I played it online too.
It's on
Is
Yukata. Yeah,
yeah, but when you take over two areas that are next to each other and make one region, it's a neat moment when you're getting to combine and push those together. So it's one of those experiences where I feel like you can't ignore just the joy of physically touching the pieces on the
yeah.
table, putting them together, and making it even harder for your
So
opponent.
this is what I love about this game. So, by the way, it's if I want to play a two player area control game, this is the game I play. It's quick, it's deterministic, it's got all the mechanics that I seem to enjoy in regards to area control kinds of games. The way to win is to have 10 of those castles out on the board of your player color. And yeah, that mechanic of the tiles is merging together and becoming one region, because what happens is if there's
Yep.
two adjacent regions with your castles, you have one castle in one region, one castle in the other region, those regions merge together
Yeah.
and they become one super region. And in order to determine what player has dominance in a region, it are determined by those cubes. Now, those cubes are representing like soldiers kind of thing, but what's interesting about them is that the color cubes don't necessarily belong to any player. The allegiance of those colored cubes will change based on how much influence you have in that particular cube color. And
That's a
yeah,
lot of
it's
cubes.
such
I
it's
mean,
such a brain burner, but not like a I need a 50-minute break after this.
I,
It's a
it, it
good crunchy quick
It's
thing.
true because you say brain burner, and very often I think it does make you think, but you could go another round. I remember we
Yeah.
played this. I had to leave, and I didn't want to leave because I wanted to do another round.
Well, we did on Yukata after.
Yeah, we did on Yukata later that day, didn't we?
We did.
It does give you a nice chunky bag of
Yeah.
like. There's so many little cubes in here. I love it. Yeah, this one just stood out to me. The only other thing I would note, not in the old category, but I would note in the new category, just new. Having played Watergate, I can officially
Oh
say
yeah.
I have put Watergate into my top 5 2-player games. So
Really?
yes,
That's a lot
love
for you
Watergate.
because I know you love 2-player games. So.
It is a step below Targi certainly, but it is good. It is
Watergate, of
really good.
course, being the game where it is Nixon versus journalists. Nixon
Yes.
trying to finish his term before getting caught, and the journalists linking pieces of evidence on a Charlie Day kind of
It's
board.
yes. It is neat. I like this one a lot, and played it multiple times since. I think you had told me about it. I saw it in the store. I
I
ended up
did.
liking it online. I ended up buying it when it was in the store. I happened to see it. I said, "Yeah, I want this." So
I knew you would love this game.
yeah,
But I do want to interrupt 1 second though. Careless Magnus, it it does fall into my initial uh, idea of Cult of the Old, because Careless Magnus came out in 2000 and was
yes,
reimplemented 2021 last year into
right.
Ariantis, which is not as it's got like different animal creatures and it's fine, but it kind of I don't know. I kind of like the grid of it all. You know,
I I I
I'm
have
not
no
against
interest.
it. I'm not
I'm
against it. Look, I'll
I'm not
play it.
against it, but I have this.
Right,
I have this
exactly.
guy.
You got the ugly. Hi,
Look at that
Rachel.
guy.
Hey,
Look,
Rachel.
don't you want to be his friend?
Yeah, no, I
Hey,
get it.
Rachel's here, by the way. Uh,
Yes,
so just saying, Rachel's popping in saying hi. Hi, Rachel.
there you go. Yeah,
So
and Chucky Max is great, and Watergate. So yeah, I do want to interrupt. Um, yeah, and right here we have Watergate is really good, which the theme was different, but still really good regardless. And I just, but the thing is, the theme pulls me in. The theme pulls me in 100%. When I saw, so I found out about this game because Rodney Smith posted a video of Watch It Played for a game called Watergate. Now immediately I'm like, what? Is this? There's no way this is about the Watergate scandal. And sure enough, it's about the Watergate scandal. And they, it knocked it out of the park. I just, and by they I mean Matthias Kramer.
Yeah.
Who of course designed Rococo. I know Squirrel, you're in the chat. I know you love Rococo. I also too love Rococo. It's pretty great. But Watergate, man, it's just, it, yeah, and
Yeah.
Watergate is from like the same DNA as like 1960 Making of a President and Twilight Struggle. It's got that same DNA, but like condensed into like a 30-minute. Let's just let's just connect the dots,
Yeah.
and the
And
history
for
is great.
anyone and for anyone joining, because we've got a bunch of people who joined,
Yeah,
we always do invite people before I leave.
I'm
Ryan
gonna
always
put that
invites
link in
people.
the chat again right now, just
Yeah,
so it's
Ryan
easy.
always does invite people to share also new games that they've played in this month, and Watergate was new for me. But my choice, just on a clear, happy to end note, is this lovely game.
Yeah,
For my and 2000, like I said, this game 2000, as you know, re-implemented. But you know what? This one is great. I like it as it is.
yeah.
I don't need. I'm the same person who can say, by the way, because it's behind me. I have
Is
Century
it Lost the
Spice
board
Road.
game again?
Yeah, I have Century Spice Road.
Okay.
I don't need the pretty new implemented one. I still like my
Oh,
Century
Golem.
Spice Road.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the Golem version. I don't need a Golem version personally, but
yeah.
that's just that. You know what? It's fine. This is the guy who did back the Castles of Burgundy Kickstarter because
I
I
was
wanted.
hoping someone would bring that up. You know,
Someone might. I won't go into depth on that one. I'm just gonna say I backed it because I wanted the prettier looking one.
I'm happy
So
to talk about Castle of Burgundy. If someone
yeah.
else wants to pick it up, feel free
Well,
to call in.
I will encourage people to call in, chat with Ryan. This has been such a fun show since we brought it in, and you don't need to go on camera. I just always
Right.
remind people, you don't. I go on. I'm used to being on the channel. I have
You
no
can go
problem.
like this.
Yeah, you could be the bouncing circle
Yeah.
image.
You could
So
just be the.
yeah.
That's pretty
So
cool.
anyways, I will bounce. I will encourage people to go join and have a good rest of the show there, Ryan.
Yeah, right. Well, you're more welcome to come back whenever. I
Okay.
guess. I mean, you only started the channel, whatever.
So I started the channel.
Rachel's
So
saying that she prefers Century non-Golem as well. Look
yeah.
at that. See?
Yep.
Take
No,
that,
Rachel has great
Golem.
taste. Rachel's great taste, and I will note. I play a decent amount of games. Every once in a while, I get to play another game with Rachel on BGA. Very much some of the same games we've been playing in a circle or in a tournament of stuff, but
Yeah.
always a lot of fun. And so of course, I'm going to agree with Rachel right there, and I'm going to hopefully see someone else pop on.
Hang on, you stay for a second because
Okay.
Brian has a question for you.
Yeah.
Brian Dean, friend of mine. Castles of Burgundy, minis or no minis. Now, before you continue,
Yeah.
I'm just going to pull it up. I got it right here. The Awaken Realms Castles of Burgundy that I could not believe was not an April Fool's joke, but here it is. And nothing against it. It's just I was surprised to see a miniature blinged out version of Castles of Burgundy. And again, nothing against that. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll Brian, I'm going to note really quick what you said in a moment, but I want to talk about this briefly. I will note that I didn't do it with the minis. The thing I wished I did, and I still considered, was the acrylics, because I do like the idea of acrylics, but for $30-something, I'll deal without them.
You're talking acrylic tiles, right? The
Yeah, the
hexagon
acrylic
tiles.
tiles, which were nice, but visually, it just gives me what I wanted from Castles of Burgundy. I just wanted a little bit more from it. I didn't need this. This was totally a luxury purchase, and this is a luxury. I mean, the final prices on some of the packages for this were astronomical.
Yeah.
So if you wanted this, you were buying luxury to begin with,
Right.
and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Correct. I'm going to do the same thing when the Agricola big box thing comes out this year.
Yes.
Again, I love Agricola, so I'm going to do the
Agricola
big box.
Let's throw this up really quick, because the mini castles to me were going to not be great for the game itself, so I didn't care about them.
Yeah.
So even for $10 more, even for $10 more, I was like, no, I don't want it. I don't.
What are the busts for?
What
are the busts? I see like busts of different players. You see that?
Yeah, I
Is
think
that for
that
the ship track?
it might be.
How could they stack on top of each
No,
other?
no, the stack is the little ones. Do you see the little ones below those busts? Those
Oh,
little,
yeah, okay.
those are for those.
That makes more
Um,
sense.
yeah, they will. So,
Yeah.
I want to note one more thing before I go, because I did see it come up, and it's a really good point that I had not thought about. So, of course, Brian brought it up, and this is in relation. Oh no, that's not the right one. Um, this is in relation to Spice Road, and you're completely right on this, Brian. Of course, it is not the most colorblind friendly game. I have issues with it myself at times. So this is a really great point. If Century Golem is colorblind friendly, then they made that switch. That's great, and that might be the reason, a good reason for people to pick that one up. But
Yeah.
because I mentioned it, I wanted to make sure I responded to it. But maybe we'll see Brian on here. Hopefully, we can convince Brian to pop on. So,
I told him I told him he's got to come on. I'm
all right.
not hanging up this chat. I will be here for 5 hours until Brian's on. No
Well,
problem. It ain't. But Brian said that the bus are score markers. That's
okay,
cool.
that makes sense.
We got a backed Castles of Burgundy strictly for the larger tiles and fancy boards, and also
Yeah.
some defense for Century Golem Edition that he likes pretty rocks and he'll fight everybody about it. The thing
Yeah.
is, if you like rocks and you want to fight everyone about it, the only term you could use is it's clobber in time. You know what I mean? Like
We don't have that in Marvel Champions yet. I'll wait. I'll wait
we
for that.
don't, but all right. But I am putting it together right now for Marvel United.
Oh man.
That's the only reason why I backed this X Men Kickstarter thing was so I can get the Fantastic Four
Got
thing.
it.
But anyways,
Well, I'm gonna
I
make someone
digress.
else come on here, and I'm gonna leave because no one wants to see this mug anymore. So,
All right.
um,
It's been a pleasure.
have a wonderful evening, everybody. I'll be in the chat, but someone come on and talk a little bit with Ryan because these are always a great time. So,
Yeah. All right. Well, heave ho. I kicked him out by saying heave ho. I ripped that off from another podcast. Oh, Brian Chandler washing dishes. No worries. We got it. Yeah. So hey, if it is gonna be a 5 hour stream, it's a 5 hour stream. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Um, but yeah, I am happy that Castles of Burgundy was successful. I mean, clearly people want this, right? I mean, I know when Castles of Burgundy first came out, people just you know, it was not attractive looking. And then there was the idea of the 10th anniversary edition that was going to make it much better looking art, and that's exactly what we wanted. And then it just kind of made it a bit more of a mess. It just didn't look as good. And this is clearly, and I think I forget. I think it was Awaken Realms when they signed the deal with Ravensburger for GameFound that they asked specifically to do a version of Castles of Burgundy, and so here is their version of Castles of Burgundy. Because I will pull up to is the older version of Castles of Burgundy, which is 17th right now in Board Game Geek. Hooray! I remember when I first got it too. I got it as part of a Reddit Secret Santa, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And turns out I loved it. Yeah. So the original artwork, as you guys know, this is it right here. You know, just a lot of like pastel kind of looking colors. And then the special edition version came out. Is this it? No, that's the that well, that one is called special edition. It is the I guess it's not here. Maybe it's under versions. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Bryant. I do like 2011 over 2019. Right. Yeah, I let it. Yeah, we might as well talk about the 10-year anniversary edition. So let's do it. Let's do it. I'll pull it up. Castles of Burgundy, and I was pumped to get the 10th anniversary edition, but you know, it was just. I mean, it's very stark. It's very stark in person. Um, Yeah, I'm trying to find like a picture in the wild of it because it's just very like just a picture in the wild. Oh wait, maybe. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. This. it didn't deliver. That's for sure. It was I don't know from an accessibility standpoint. I don't recall, Brian, if you covered this, where the different versions of Castles of Burgundy, if the 2019 one was better. I feel like you did. I feel like I remember seeing that. Um, but you know, it's uh, it's just not what we wanted. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Yeah, exactly. I remember you saying that. That colorblind friendlier, can't play the original, but agree it is uglier. And Barros did say that he had higher expectations and didn't end up buying it when he had a chance to at PAX Unplugged. And it's so funny. Um, I went to that PAX Unplugged when it was coming out with a friend of mine, and he loves Castles of Burgundy, and he was going to buy his copy of it, the deluxe edition, and then saw it in person. Was like, nah, it's okay. And it's not like I don't feel like the expansions really add a lot, to be honest. Because I ended up buying some of the expansions for my older version of Castles of Burgundy, and I tried them once or twice, but like I would never go back to them. You know, I don't feel like they necessarily add anything to the game that's new. It's just here's different things, and now this new version of Castles of Burgundy has another expansion that is exclusive to it. You know, it's just I don't know. It gets to that point where some games just have like expansion bloat, and I feel like Castles of Burgundy definitely hit that mark. Um, we have for Bryant saying that they swapped the sides for everything on the player mats for no reason. I didn't even realize that. Hang on. Let me find that. Let me find that. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. So let me zoom in on that. Right. So these guys down here should be on the top left. Your dice should be on the top right. That's just weird. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. Sorry, this is my old man part, right? This is get off the grass. Look, and again, it's just my opinion. I'm not, and some people like this for sure. I do want to talk about a game that recently is Cult of the Old, sort of Cult of the Old, sort of. That is getting a new reprint. That is people. Some people are disliking it, and I think that's a little unjust because I'm on the side of I actually like it. So Village is a game that came out the same year as Castles of Burgundy. Um, I don't know if any of you played Village before, but in Village, it is a worker placement kind of game. Like I was not really sort of. So your workers are your members of your family, and they come in different generations, and they have like different T-shirts that say 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever, because that's like the generation that they're part of. And as the game goes on, the currency that you're spending is time, and when you go complete full circle, um, your workers die, and they go into this book right here to show off their legacy, right? Like oh, they were well known for doing this or that, and then after a certain point, the rest of them just die in this graveyard, whatever. Um, and with Village in particular, the newer version of Village, I'm gonna pull up the newer version of Village. It's not here. Let me see if there's a dedicated page for it. I think it's called the Village Big Box. Here it is. Village Big Box. So the cover art I think is great. It's totally looks completely different from any game of its ilk, of its Euro board game ilk. But we have like this story, majestic looking thing, kind of like it kind of looks like I forget the name of those like old time medieval prince booklet stuff, but I do know like uh it's a small world ride at Disney. It's very evocative of that, right? And then the board, people were quick to poo poo on it and to some degree, I guess it's just not what they wanted. Some people think it looked cartoony. I know there's a conversation about this, but I kind of like the direction they're going. I feel like it is a more whimsical kind of game because it's all about your legacy. It's all about your workers and where they're going to retire. And it's got like this majestic looking, I guess, storytelling kind of thing. Um, but Bryant did buy new expansion. He bought both the expansions, and yeah, I do have both the expansions as well. I do like In. I haven't done Port yet, but I really love In. I feel like In you need to jump in. All right. Anyways. I'm rambling. I'm rambling. We have someone on deck. We have someone on deck. I'm getting him ready by repeating that we have someone on deck, and he's ready. He's ready. He's a pro. He's a pro. I'm gonna pull him right in. We have everyone. Welcome, Anthony of Board Game Dads. Anthony, call aboard.
Love it.
I did it. I did it. Thank
I
you.
did miss the first one. I was 2 minutes late
I
to
did one just for you.
start. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Kay? Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yeah, tomorrow is 4 weeks.
Wow, that was
So
fast.
we were supposed to do this video the day before my wife went into labor.
That's right. That's
So
right. Hello, Rachel.
yeah,
Hello.
we did it. If I'm sounding choppy, let me know. Am I okay? You're good? Okay.
I think so.
All right, cool. I saw like a bar connection thing, but
Mm.
I'm good. Okay, well, welcome. Tell us, sir. Tell us about Board Game Dads. And you were here yesterday too.
I was. So Chris and I did a live play of Welcome to Your Summer Ice Cream House.
The best one.
The best one in your opinion? All right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Well, I haven't
And
done Moon, which is a different game.
Moon is
You
a
know?
different game. Moon is almost 8 different games, honestly, in the box.
Yeah,
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
yeah. I haven't done Moon. And Rachel, by the way, thank you so much. Yeah, it's the lighting. That's why I look so well rested. Don't worry. Hang on. I'll look a lot. There you go. That's the real.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
real. Okay.
there you go.
Uh,
But yeah, I played with Chris last night, and then it's funny. He was trying to give me a little bit of a plug, and then my camera and everything just kind of like crapped out, and I
oh
couldn't get
no.
back on. So yes, so
What's going on? That's not the first time this happened with you. I remember once like the power
uh,
went out because it was like lightning storm.
that's true.
You know?
That's true. And then when I was doing something live a couple months back, same thing happened. My screen went blank. I have a sneaking suspicion that my computer is starting to tell me that it's not feeling very well.
Oh man. Uh oh.
So I'm not looking forward to that because I know one
Oh,
day it's going to happen and it's not going to be.
that
It's going to be over.
that's not a cheap bill. Well, you don't live far. You can come over. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
you're always welcome here.
All right, so we're talking Cult of the Old. So I
Cult of the
looked
Old.
at
Yes.
my collection and I didn't know what the cutoff was here, what defines.
I said 10 years, but honestly, the older the better.
Oh, okay. All right. 10 years is.
But the older the better. You know.
I tried to go pre. I tried to go 90s to be honest.
Good. That's what I want
So
to hear.
yeah, yeah. So I have a few. I'm not going to mention all of them, but there's a couple that are pretty well known, and a couple that maybe are a little bit under the radar. So the first one just sneaks in because it's 1999, and that's
Mhm.
Lost Cities.
We were just talking about Knizia.
Right, right.
Let me pull that up. Yeah, Lost City's right here. I'm gonna pull up this picture. Looks nice enough to talk about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Lost Cities is a two-player only card game, and man, is it! It's very tight and very tense.
yeah,
You do not want to give your opponent an inch of an advantage, and you are forced to discard a card sometimes, and it's just a brutal decision to make. You don't want to get rid of anything, and
yeah.
it's like a game of chicken at the same time.
It is.
I love this game. It's a great two-player game. It's beautiful. It's pretty simple looking, but the art is decent, and
I
it's
think the
been
art's
around for a
fine.
long time.
Yeah, I think the art is fine.
I do. I
It
like this game a lot.
it evokes the theme to some degree. I mean,
I think
granted,
so.
it's a theme. It's it's all about a journey, right, to the goal at the end. But you're right. This game is absolutely chicken. Um, and I didn't play it for a long time because the app came out, and then I
Mm,
went to town on the app, and then I got sick of it. I just got sick of Lost Cities,
that'll
and
happen.
then but then I recently played it like actually last month, and it was great.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah, I enjoy that one a lot. I haven't played the.
board game
I know there's a board game version, and I know even
roll and
more
write.
recently, I believe they came out with a new
Yeah.
expansion, kind of like another color deck of cards, I think.
Well, I know there's a newer edition. Did that one maybe come
Maybe
with
that's
it?
what it was.
But
Maybe.
I wasn't there a roll and write of this? Or I see Lost Cities to Go.
Oh, I don't know if I know that. Lost
Sorry,
Cities to
it's
Go.
not a roll and write. What is this? I don't know what this is. Is
I
this new?
think that might be the new artwork.
This is 2018. Not that new.
Yeah. Well, it's newer than 1999.
This is practically garbage. It's like the same. Sorry, it's like the same same bucket of old. Don't worry.
Yeah, same old bucket of old.
Yeah. Is it Lost City Rivals? Is that what it is? I see Brian brought up Lost City Rivals.
See that the title alone just does not make any sense to me. It's already a two-player game. You're
Already
not
two-player
working
game.
together.
That's like Fox and the Forest and Fox and the Forest duet, right?
Exactly.
It's like why you know.
To Go is a travel version, Brian says.
Oh, there is a roll and write.
Hmm.
Hang on, let me pull that up. That's what I thought you would say. Here it is. Roll and write. Lost Cities roll and write. Man,
Yeah.
board game world needs more roll and writes, sir. That's what I say. That's what I say. Hot
I don't
take.
care how crowded it is. I'll take them.
Hot take. Hot take. I don't like a lot of them, but I will play if you put it in front of me. I'm playing it. You know, so you got to
Agreed.
do it. All right, what's the other old game you got, sir?
All right, so I've got another card game here called What the Heck. This one is
What?
from 1988. I should have got it out. Where is it? Here it is.
1988. I was one. I like it. This game? Yeah, there it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
What the heck?
Again, just cards. You're basically it's one of those like bidding games where everyone has the same deck of numbered cards, and then there's
Yeah.
a card that's up for grabs, and you're trying to win it or not win it because some of them are negative points.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's pretty simple but pretty cool. But
It's got a lot of versions. Looks like this one's
yeah,
called
I
something
think this is
Buzzard.
one that's probably been re-implemented a good amount with
Yeah.
probably different artwork. Um, but another quick one, really easy to get to the table. But my favorite game,
Okay.
my favorite old game,
Okay.
easily, and
Okay.
this is from 1982,
Okay.
is Survive: Escape from Atlantis.
Bum 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 bum.
Hands down.
You mean this one?
Yeah. Oh, you have that one. Okay. Yeah, you have the old one.
This is thanks to Squirrel. He's like, I saw you talk about it, so here it is. I'm
Nice.
like, okay. I haven't played it yet, but this is it.
Wow, that's a really that's an old school
It's
board game
black and
box.
white.
Oh, wow.
So this is like post period of stock photo families playing, right? There's like it's like postmodernist uh Parker Brothers, right? Yeah, Parker Brothers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to play Survive. It looks yeah, exactly. That's what I like. It does look like stupid good fun. And I like stupid good fun.
It is. It's mean, obviously, but it's like everyone is being mean to everyone, and it's just okay because of that.
Let me pull that up. Hang on. And it looks really yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is the game I want to play.
Oh yeah.
Got a shark fin, you know.
Oh, those
Yeah,
do look a little different. Okay, they got the whale. Looks like it's just the tail coming out of the water. So that's a different meeple than
yeah.
my version too.
And then Barrow's saying that Squirrel's the reason he has a copy of Weapons and Warriors again. And Brian saying Espin, that's how'd you know? That's what the accent. Wouldn't know, but everything was black and white in 1982. That's true. I guess so. I guess so.
That seems about right.
And the family shot would be a lie unless a child was crying. Come
Oh my god.
on.
Yeah, I've seen those real life
Is this a crying
photos.
game?
Oh yeah. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
okay. I'm not. I don't know.
You could get you could lose three people in one turn,
All
three of
right.
your meeples in one turn in this, and they could all be worth like a lot of points.
Let's look at these mechanics then. Action points, dice rolling, okay, that might be, right? And then grid movement, hexagon grid, map reduction, okay, memory,
Mm.
modular board, secret unit deployment, and take that. So I guess just to take that's pretty
It's to take
extreme.
that. Yeah, for sure. This is one of those games that they say will cause rifts in the family at some point, but it is all in good fun.
Yeah, and part
And I
of me
will say,
misses
you
that.
could be in this game. You could be like doing really bad and have a lot of your people perish, and still have a chance of winning because the values of them is unknown at the beginning of the game. You know it because you place them out, but you're not allowed to look at them after that. So you have to wait till game end to check everyone that you got saved and see what points you have.
Hmm.
So some of the meeples, like there's one worth 6, there's a 5, there's like 2 4s and a couple 3s,
Here,
and
let me see if I can
some of
find a
them worth
picture
10.
of that. So they have different numbers on them. Is that
They
what
have
you're saying?
different values on them. So at the beginning of the game, you take turns placing them out on different spots on the island.
Yeah.
But as the game progresses, obviously a lot of stuff happens. Things go horribly awry. So you might lose some folks, but maybe the two that you ended up saving were like your 6 and your 4, and 10 points might win you the game.
Oh, I
So
see.
it's
So this meeple that's about to be attacked by 2 sharks has a number under it,
he does.
right? Right.
Yeah, and it's royally screwed in that situation for
I
sure.
thought those were like library stampers for a second. I didn't realize they were people. You know.
Yeah, these are. Is this pictures from the version that you have? This is definitely
Uh, yes,
older.
yes, it
Okay,
is. You could see
that
the
makes
the
sense.
library people
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool, man. There's a couple expansions. Comes with 5 to 6 player expansion. And there's the giant squids and the dolphins that change a little bit of the rules. But this is one that is an evergreen in my opinion. Will never leave my collection.
And part of me misses like so 1982, right? Survive comes out. Is this game like readily available at Toys R Us in 1982? Is this
I have
something that
no
you can grab
idea.
off the shelf,
I never heard of it
right?
until like recently. Not recently, but
If you know in the
definitely
chat, let me
not in
know.
1982. Yeah, I don't know.
I think like so I remember like as a kid, like the novelty board games because I would love going into like the board game aisle at Toys R Us. And the novelty board games that I saw that I loved were like the VHS games,
Mm,
Atmosphere, Omega Virus,
Omega virus. Yeah, that
you
was
know,
scary.
there these are that's a whole genre I miss. There's no one's making. I know Restoration is bringing back older games, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, actually, I think there's a new version of Atmosphere. I'm pretty sure there's a new version. Yeah, there's an app version of Atmosphere,
Mm,
but like I don't know.
oh. Ha.
Yeah, I think this was on Kickstarter. Oh no, they recreated the first Atmosphere on Kickstarter. That was the thing. There was a Kickstarter for the very first Atmosphere. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, here it is. Here it is. I'll pull it up. Pre-order now.
Spooky.
Yeah, you know, man, I could still order it, guys.
Go for it.
I'd stop. I have mountains behind me. I have mountains, sir. I'm I'm swimming. I'm playing my own game of Survive over here.
There you go. Yes.
You know,
Survive, escape from.
We escape from children right now.
There you go.
That's
Yeah. At this point. At this point, for sure.
how do you do it? How do you have 2 kids?
I do have 2 kids. It's not easy.
No,
It's challenging. It has its own challenges that change with each day. Now my wife is home because she works in a school district, so
yeah,
pretty much finished with work, and that changes a lot of things. It's already changed the dynamic between my son and I. He's very much all about mommy again because
yeah,
he's home all the time, and that's challenging because during the school year and during the week, it's pretty much me taking care of
yeah.
both, and now it's kind of like mommy's here,
No, I
but
get it.
it's not easy, and you know what? A few years ago, when I was first talking with someone about having a family, I didn't think I would be able to do it. I would say, "How am I supposed to do this?" And she said, "You're just gonna
You're board game
figure it out."
dads.
Now that was before that, but
You were
board
always.
games does get us through some tough times for sure. So yeah,
Yeah. So are all 4 playing now? No, not just 3.
no,
Right?
yeah, my youngest is too young for sure.
Yeah.
But my son AJ does have his own shelf now. He's over here, although he doesn't put them back properly.
Oh,
I'll have
I
to work
see.
on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, his stuff is down here. He
Yeah.
just tends to put them wherever he feels like,
Oh, I
which is
get
fine.
it.
But yeah, now it's funny because now he'll say, "I want to go play a game, Daddy," and he'll go in here and he'll pick up a game
Yeah.
and bring it out. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Do you want to answer this? Have you played the Mad Magazine board game? I've played that.
Ooh, no. I did
Yeah.
love me some Mad Magazine though.
Mad Magazine's a
Dumb
board
roll and
game.
move. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what I would
It
expect it
was,
to
but it
be.
also had like if your name was Alfred E. Newman, you get like this much of money. The thing is, I think the way to win it was purposely that you lose all your money first.
Okay.
Just Monopoly ripoff where you have to lose all your
Yep.
money. And I know, Brian, that you adore this game. This is number one of all time, the Lord of the Rings trading card game. You know, based on the movie. I still haven't played this.
Hmm.
I know it's a whole thing. You know. Well, anyways, and then yeah, shout out. All right, so Brian is done with dishes. He's bouncing, but that's what he said. That's what he said. He said he's gonna bounce.
Well, thanks for having me on. As always, I appreciate it, and
Thank you.
we'll talk soon. Good luck
Yeah,
with fatherhood.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So, oh yeah, I'm kicking you off. Heave ho. There it is. Heave ho. Sorry, again, I'm ripping that off. This whole thing started because there's this radio talk show called The Best Show that I used to listen to, and whenever he kicked off people, usually while they're in mid sentence because they were really like shouldn't be on the air, he would usually say heave ho. But Anthony should be on the air. He is on the air. Yes, he's still in the waiting room. I see him. He's gone now. Wait. You were a play tester for Lord of the Rings, the card game. Nice. How much play testing was involved in that? I mean, this is, that's like that whole. Let's talk about trading card games because obviously, the granddaddy of them all, right? Magic the Gathering is absolutely cult of the old, right? Look at that. I type in Magic the Gathering and a Board Game Geek link is not the first thing that shows up because that's how good it is. You don't need to see it on Board Game Geek. There's whole sites dedicated to this thing, right? 93, Richard Garfield, right? And I never saw this. There's a designer called Wizard of Barge next to him. But yeah, Magic kicked off everything, right? Magic kicked off that whole collectible card game kind of thing. You had the Star Wars one that Barros, right? He loves the Star Wars one. I know that. He would remember pulling a Yoda everyone in town wished they had pulled. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that sentence, 10 cents probably. And then yeah, so what you knew some dude to decipher, so I got in a lot of cool stuff. I'm so out of it. I don't even know what Decipher is. I'm sorry. Don't take my, I'm not worried about losing my geek cred. Go ahead. I don't know what Decipher is. I don't pretend. But you can tell me what Decipher is. And yeah, I am grateful I never got into Magic too. With Magic, that was the thing. I remember kids in school would play Magic, and I was like, oh, this, I want to learn how to play Magic. But again, sometimes you learn these games and the teacher's just not great, and then because they're just focused on trouncing you. And so I got trounced for sure. And I never got back into Magic. I did get into Hero Clicks. That was a whole, oy, yeah, Hero Clicks. But collectible card games for sure. Magic the Gathering kicked it off. I've always heard this story about Magic the Gathering that I'm sure is not true at all. That Richard Garfield, designer of Magic the Gathering, of course, went to Wizards of the Coast with this board game. Oh, right here, the Cipher made Star Wars collectible card game, Lord of the Rings trading card game, the Star Trek collectible card game. Nice. Man, I didn't even know their name. Okay, now I know. Thank you so much. Um, so, anyways, there's this story that I've always heard where, and I know it's not true. It's definitely not true that Richard Garfield went to Wizards of the Coast with a board game that he wanted, a passion project board game that he wanted to play and wanted to make. And so he brought that over, and Wizards of the Coast said, "I'm sorry, but this game is just going to cost us too much. Can you make a quick card? Can you make something cheaper that we could produce, and then we could produce your dream project?" So Richard Garfield made Magic the Gathering, and that sold Wizards of the Coast millions. So, of course, the game I'm talking about right after that is, of course, Robo Rally, which, if you guys never played Robo Rally, it's weird. It's a programming game where you are moving robots. You're moving your robots. It's battle bots basically, and you're trying to you play cards for your movements, and then you flip them over. You activate in a specific sequence based on what numbers come first, and then you're moving. And if you're ever in line of sight of a robot, you just laser them, and they lose points. And the way to win is to be the last robot standing, which you could die by losing health points or also falling off the board because the boards are designed where you can fall off. And it's very mean. And I feel like a lot of older games have this meanness to it, you know? Obviously, the clear example is Monopoly, right? It's the roll and write where you just move and that's it, right? That you just do what it says. And I'm not, I, I, I I know a lot of people want to poo-poo Monopoly. Look, I gave it a 4 too, but I you gotta give it some cred. You know, we were all playing Monopoly as kids. I played Monopoly as a kid, and I still have some Monopolies that I would want to play. You know, I'm a sucker to IP. I have Ghostbusters Monopoly. I'm not gonna play Ghostbusters Monopoly. I have Ghostbusters Clue. I'm not gonna play Ghostbusters Clue, but I got them. You know, because like that's just what it is. But we all play Monopoly. We all started somewhere. I'm glad there's games that are not Monopoly anymore, but some games just had that meanness. I'm thinking of it too. You guys ever heard of Wiz War? Wiz War was a classic game that was re-implemented in 2012, but the original one came out in 1983. Designer Tom Jolly, who's the guy that coded Manhattan Project Energy Empire with Luke Laurie. This game is very mean and dumb. And I kind of like mean and dumb, where you're wizards just fighting it out and just beating the crap out of other wizards. And you know, I feel like there's like a certain charm to some of these older games. And sometimes you just see, I guess, like this is the new Euro. This is whatever. I'm not gonna pick on names of different Euros, but at the end of the day, it's like, well, you know, these are what sounds more exciting? Are you wizards going out fighting each other, or are you um, making textiles and exchanging them for goods and victory points? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's just me. Anyways, sorry. I am ranting. I am ranting. Um, so the topic, like I said, is cults of the old. But of course, if you do want to drop in specific names of games in the chat, feel free to. There's also yeah, Brian, you'd rather make textiles. Okay, I get it. You know, I still think of the IT crowd. There was an episode. It was like their anniversary reunion episode, and Moss ends up starting a board game channel where he reviews Textile Merchant, the the Essen edition. It's just so funny. But anyways, um, you know, the topic is Cult of the Old. So these are old games, things that stand out to you. Could it be a game that you played as a kid that just resonates? You know, oh, Rachel bringing up Enchanted Forest. She was jealous of her friend who had Enchanted Forest, which I played every time I went over there. As an adult, I bought it to play with my kids. It wasn't as good. I've seen Enchanted Forest, and that's absolutely a game where I wanted to play it as a kid, and I saw it. Um, do you ever find games you thought, yeah, yeah, absolutely. There are games that I thought would be good. I mean, then that's just constantly I mean, that's just I think that's also just growing in the hobby. You know, um, before I mean, my first hobby board game that pulled me in to board games was really Dominion. That really pulled me in. It was like, yep, I gotta be playing this. But before that, you know, I was playing. I played Munchkin. I played Zombies with the exclamations. You know, and that was just what I was into at the time. Hero Clicks. I was at the time, and like I said, Monopoly. I would play a bunch, and it's because it's just the tactile feel of playing with others is pretty cool, and just sharing that experience with other people. Wait, was it had the same experience as Perfect Strangers? Was there a Perfect Strangers board game, or do you mean the TV show you had experience? That Perfect Strangers wasn't as good as you thought it was. You know, I actually never seen Perfect Strangers. I should. I really should. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. Maybe Board Game Dads is right. Maybe I don't know. I'm reading into that too much. Um, yeah. So, anyways, this has been. You mean the show? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I never got into Perfect Strangers. I should check that out though. But yeah, this has been fun. It's good to be back for sure. I know we have some other videos coming up too, and if you don't mind to, if you're still in the chat, feel free to also put down if there's a game that you played this month, new to you, that just stands out. I'm going to talk about one right now while you guys think about that. But if there's a game that you played this month that just stands out to you, feel free to put it in. I'm going to bring up the Adventures of Robin Hood. If I can find it, there it is. Adventures of Robin Hood. I don't know if you guys seen this game before, heard about this game. It's a game that drew me in as soon as I found out about the components. Uh, these are the components in the Adventures of Robin Hood. It is a board that is part advent calendar, part jigsaw puzzle, but it's really just an advent calendar. And you're pulling up different pieces of the board when the book tells you, because the book has different scenarios you go through, and it's like a storybook. You go in and it has like different tales of what you're doing and different character dialogue and different missions and things to look out for. um the story's not like it's not like, it's not amazing in a story, like, but for what it is, for the novelty, I'm really having a good time with this game. you know, because what's going on is you're going through this book, and the book walks you through how to play and also what you kind of want to do. So there's not really much in terms of just, I guess, just thinking about what to do. You kind of just go with the motions, and you kind of have to be okay with fudging some rules too. Because how the game works is you have, so these are different character pawns, right? And there's two standing miniature character pawns. And for movement, what you're going to be doing is you take like the longer, wider pawn, and you kind of, I guess, like connect them like a train. This isn't a train game, don't worry. You connect them like a train to where you want to go. There's really no hexes for movement and that sort of thing. And then you land on some sort of Benny, and you pull out the page of the book, and you just read the page of the book. Um, I like this game. It's a weird one, but it's a great one. I'm doing it solo. Um, and it works great solo because you just going in, reading a story, just having fun playing with toys, you know. But anyways, I have someone in the queue. That's right, someone in the queue. Now I've seen him on Twitter. Talked to him on Twitter. Board game Twitter is like a whole thing, right? And that right here, we have the Eclectic Camel, which I will call you the Eclectic Camel unless you tell me to call me anything else. And welcome to Call the Board. That's the thing. And I blew out your ears. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I got.
Uh-oh. I blew out your ears.
What is going on, everybody? I got a little bit of duplication here. Hold on one second. Yeah, let me mute.
That's right.
Let's mute YouTube. That's much better. All right, I'll hear myself once. Fantastic.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was like, should I call in? I was like, tonight's not a work night. I'll just watch. But I thought I'd pop in for a little bit and say hello.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah. This is a very cool show, by the way. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Thank you.
Having friends of the channel and viewers and stuff like that call in and chat a little bit about board games, which we all love. So
yeah,
this is a great idea.
And board gamers, myself included, could just talk about board games.
Absolutely.
Right? So
absolutely.
So tell us about yourself, sir.
So my name is David. I also go by Eclectic Camel. I was a board game. Well, I am a board game streamer. I've been for about a year.
Uh-oh. Are you there? Is it me? Oh, it might be me.
Am I back?
You're back.
I think I'm
Was
back.
that you? Was that you or me?
Are you back?
I'm here. I don't see
Has
you
the world
moving.
stopped? I don't know what's going on.
Hi. Is it me? It might be me. No, I don't think it's me. I got good bars.
Okay. No, yeah, all right, I see you moving over there. But
Okay.
this completely shut down. All right.
Oh, okay.
All right, seems like it's back now. I apologize.
We're back.
Sorry about that.
No
all
worries.
Right.
We do it live.
I mean, yeah. As I was saying, I'm a streamer, so this is kind of par for course. I stream mostly now with Mandy Hutchison over on her channel.
Oh, cool.
Sultan Sass Games. Yeah, she's awesome. And we do a weekly stream, and I'll usually do like a solo stream of something for the week. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm into right now. I'm actually more well known for being on other people's channels. So
well, there you go.
Really well.
Then keep tradition up.
Yeah.
Here, why don't you go ahead.
Well, the thing I wanted to kind of pop in and talk about really quick was being able to play test for Decipher back in the day for Lord of the Rings TCG and Star Wars CCG and stuff like that.
So let me pull up Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Okay.
This is the trading card game, not the Fantasy Flight one.
And for anybody who hasn't played it, man, one of the best mechanisms in this game, and the only other game I can think of that really came close to using this was the Conan game. Was that so you'd sort of alternate between playing good guys, bad guys. When you were the good guys, you could play whatever you wanted. You could play Gandalf and swords and stabs and hobbits and elves and bows and whatever you wanted, but that all had a cost, and that cost is what you gave your opponent to then thwomp you on the head, the following turn. So big plays meant you were also potentially giving your opponent a big play, and there was a lot of strategy around. So you were trying to get from site 1 to site 9. I mean, the cards obviously sort of mark the different locations, and you could move twice in one turn. And there was a lot of strategy behind, and certain spots would also, if you stopped there, you were able to heal your group. Yeah. So there's a lot of strategy on, do I push twice this turn? If I don't go twice this turn, I'm only moving once next turn because I need to stop at the sanctuary. There's a lot of really great strategy in that game. I loved it, but that mechanism of giving your opponent resource and then they're able to then use that against you, I think was just really awesome.
That sounds like a cool trade-off. The only game I know that does something similar to that, like the idea at least, is Sakura Arms. It's another card game where you have you ever play that?
I have not, but I actually ordered a copy because I from people I trust, I've heard a lot of really great things. So I wanted to give that a shot.
Because that's the whole thing where there's like a shared economy for the card resources, and whatever you're using, you expel out to your opponent, and then your opponent can use those to bring out their cards. But it also could count as your health points. It's a really cool mechanic, and this kind of sounds like the precursor to that, like at least in the idea of the shared mana pool.
Yeah, there were a lot of really great designers on that game, and it's kind of sad that the company went under at a certain point. There was different controversies, but the owner's cousin allegedly stole millions of dollars from the company.
Oh, geez.
And this was around the same time they lost the Star Wars license, so their Star Wars game went under. And they had several Star Wars games. There was a normal one sort of based on the original trilogy, but they had another one called Young Jedi, which was more for like younger gamers.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the games right now. I mean, they didn't do cribbage. I'm sure they did a version of that.
Yeah, they did that in cribbage.
Right, yeah. The Star Trek customizable card game as well, too. You see that?
That was a lot of fun.
Man,
Wars. Wars was the replacement for Star Wars. It used the same mechanisms, but they had to come up with their own IP in order to use it, obviously, because they didn't have rights to Star Wars characters. But a lot of good memories wrapped up in this stuff.
Nice. So you were friends with one of them? That's how you ended up with this gig of playtesting for a Decipher?
Yeah, so their headquarters was in Norfolk, Virginia, which is where I used to live. I'm currently in Los Angeles, California, but I lived in Virginia for a long, long time. and he worked for the company. I believe at the time he was in charge of the Star Trek RPG, but it didn't matter because when they were doing play testing, it was kind of all hands on deck to, put your butt in the seat, play the games, and try to break them and figure out what card combos are broken and stuff like that. So I was able to sneak into quite a few things.
Was the Star Trek RPG like one of the West End games, or was that still part of the Cypher?
Yeah, I think they had their own system, and
Okay.
I don't believe anybody picked that particular version up.
Nice. Yeah.
But I mean that was a great time. So it was really what they would do is like, let's say we were gonna play test like a new set, they would give you like this big, bulky kind of like document with all the card names on it, and they, you had a little spot for like notes. You could write this card is broken, broken as heck. I don't know if you do language on the show or not, so I'll keep it family friendly.
We try to use no podcast language, so
fair enough.
Keep it family friendly for now.
Okay, totally fine.
I can
totally go blue, but not on somebody else's show.
No worries.
So yeah, you could write notes, and they really just wanted you to just play with everything and mix it in with old stuff and just try to break it. And there were just boxes and boxes of just every card in the game, and it was just like a kid in a candy store. It's like, man, I mean, these are cards I don't even have to play with like normally, so let me just grab a handful of these and just play test this deck I've been sort of tinking around in my head anyway.
That's so wild too. I mean, think about like this is pre-internet trading card play testing,
right?
Because obviously so much play testing now happens on the internet. Like Tabletop Simulator is a huge thing for play testing, but sending out like binders of cards out, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I think they had these. I think they had different groups around the country that were called like satellite play testers, and they would just send them product and say, hey, you can keep this, but you have to play test it and give us, feedback that we can use. And, they were able to do that. But, it was a really good time.
Did you get any design credit? Like any credit in the rule books, if anything? Special thanks?
I didn't. But, there were a couple cards for Lord of the Rings in particular that I saw were busted ahead of time. And I wrote, this card is busted. And they completely ignored every note I ever wrote about anything.
Oh,
and
man.
Released as is anyway. And I'm like,
you need to have you talked with Brian Chandler about all this? Because
I know Brian Chandler. I have not had a conversation with him yet. We played some games on BGA, I think, but
Lord of the Rings, the card game. No, because
I wish. That'd be awesome.
That's his number one game of all time.
Oh, I didn't know
that. So he did a top 20 on here. I forget when, maybe 3 months ago, Chris, right? 3 or 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was completely surprised to see number one Lord of the Rings trading card game. And yeah, I after I heard that, I'm like, I should give this a try if I can. And now, you talk about even more about like the shared resource pools, and it's just that sounds interesting for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk your face off about it, but I just try to keep it the basics. But there were so many fun little nuances of that game. Like I'll just throw one more out, and I'll try to stop myself there. But so all of the enemies had a different what was called like a home site.
Yeah.
And what that meant was, so you were traveling from 1 to 9. Nazgul could play earlier, but they were expensive. Where maybe Moria orcs could like pop out at like 4. Yeah. But if they came out earlier than that, then there was a penalty. You had to pay more to do it because they were not native. They were not supposed to, come out before that point. But once you hit site 4 and it was Moria orcs, it was just, swarms of little goblins running all at your face.
Oh, geez. I should, yeah. I wonder how someone can get this. I mean, there's probably ways to play it online, right? There's probably someone that did. Look, there's a video over here from 6 months ago.
I would imagine somebody has it on Tabletop Simulator, but I don't know that for a fact.
I have a feeling there's probably a Vassal mod or something like that for this game.
It's possible.
Oh yeah, Netrunner too. Yeah.
They had a online component for the game. They were one of the first games,
Really?
I think. I think even before Magic tried to do their original online,
Yeah.
I don't mean arena, but like their online
Yeah.
thing. They were trying to push Lord of the Rings to go as like a internet-based game, and to not much success, I think. But they were a little ahead of their time on that
Well,
one.
hey, but like those people, like that's just how it goes, right? People are ahead of their time, and just wasn't the right time for whatever it was, and
Yeah,
but it paved the way, you know.
yeah,
And that's kind of what I like about some of these older games. You see some of the DNA of these older games in some of the newer games. You'll see different remnants of some old ideas that are just fine tuned and crafted. Because I feel like that's just how a lot of the board games work. You know, like
yeah,
it just you have these games that are just fine tuned and fine tuned and fine tuned, and then you have this iteration. Then okay, now it's the second edition. Here's this game. You could see like the lineage. Like I mean, when Dominion came out, that's deck building was everywhere, right?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, and you just see the DNA of that. But it's just cool to see that, and and I feel like it's important too because it's very easy for people playing board games to just focus on like the new game. Like I just got to go and play the new stuff and just focus on the new stuff. But I feel like there is some importance for seeing some of the older games and appreciating that. Like I still think I don't think there's a better area control game than El Grande, and that came out in
It's pretty
'95.
good.
I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, like
Right.
like I just and you could see like people trying to take some of the formulas of those games and push it into something else. But at the same time, I feel like to actually, I remember like in college, I was talking with a friend about like um, doing music criticism,
Mhm.
and the kind of thing to be like a music critic is that you first don't know anything, and you need to listen to every list out there of like top music to really indulge yourself into like why is this particular album like the best album, why is this so well regarded, just to understand why it's well regarded. I feel
Right.
like there is I don't know, like it's like seeing old movies too to understand why they're well regarded, what makes them stand out, what makes film stand out. And I feel like for board games that there is some of that, but not as
Mhm.
much at all compared to other mediums, you know?
Well, I mean, you're also looking at a certain point in time. I mean, hobby board gaming. I mean, this is arguable. There
95.
were,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, Catan mostly. I mean, there were
Right.
other. You had Avalon Hill and some other games, obviously, before
Right.
that predate Catan. But I mean, if we're being real, like Catan was kind of
Yeah.
modern board gaming, and that wasn't really that long ago.
Yeah.
Another example I was going to use. I mean, movies is a great one. But my wife is actually the morning host of the at the classical station here locally, and so I think classical music is actually a great example. You mentioned music as well.
Yeah.
So many of like the greats sort of they borrowed from their peers, they borrowed from their predecessors, but it's like an idea that an earlier person has sort of birthed something else. It's like without this idea, without this precursor, like you don't have this follow up.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
so yeah, and I think that definitely applies to board games. I mean, without Dominion, God, how many games would we not have now?
Yeah. Right. I
Um,
mean, Brian right here said they just realized Marvel Legendary meets the definition of that. And yeah, Marvel Legendary was one of the first post Dominion games, and it was let's make Dominion co-op. You know,
right.
that was the whole thing with Marvel Legendary.
Yeah, the one I remember being the big first kind of thematic Dominion was Thunderstone.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thunderstone Advance came a little bit later, and now we have a Thunderstone Quest,
Yeah.
all kind of doing the same thing. But yeah, I mean, Legendary is another one. I mean, I remember I've been in the hobby playing like modern board games since 2006.
Okay.
Once the CCG thing kind of folded, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I
Yeah.
gotta go find something else to play. But seeing Dominion come out and it was just so popular. I mean, it was
Yeah.
outrageous. and then just seeing everything sort of like spawn out of it to the point where, for a long time, like people didn't like deck builders. Like if you came out with a deck builder, even if it was a hybrid, people were like, ugh, because it was just so much. There were so many deck builders out at one point. It was all sort of derivative of it was like, derivative of the derivatives at that point. It was like, now we're just borrowing from other games that just obviously ripped off Dominion. So
but then you get to that point, like I mean, like I think Shards of Infinity is one of my favorite deck builder games. I don't know if you played Shards of Infinity, but that builds on the DNA of Hero Realms and Star Realms, which builds upon Ascension. Like that all has that. You could see that lineage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But it is cool seeing the hybrids too. Like Mage Knight is fantastic with a deck building hybrid. I don't know if you played Mage Knight, but you do solo. Have you played Mage Knight?
Yeah, I
you didn't like it?
I played it once. It wasn't really my thing. I was
like,
okay. This is heavy. It
is heavy.
Yeah. For my solo experiences, I tend to keep it maybe a little more medium weight. Especially when I'm streaming, because there's already you're addressing chat, you're talking about the game, and streaming board games is kind of challenging in that you have to kind of keep the person popping into the middle of your thing, in the middle of your game, in mind, because you can give like a tutorial at the beginning, but if somebody pops in halfway through, if they don't have any context for what you're doing, they're just going to peace out. They're not going to stick around. They're like, I don't understand what's going on. So I'm not, and they won't ask. They're not going to ask. You can't make them ask. You can't be like, hey, you could say, hey, if you have any questions, let me know. You can say as many times as you want. Yeah. Most people aren't going to ask. They're like, I'm confused. I'm lost. I'm just going to go watch somebody else's stream.
Next stream. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are doing that here.
They're like, what are they talking about? Decipher Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Chris bringing up Agricola. Yeah. Oh man, your face totally changed when I said that word. Are you don't like Agricola? Yeah, that's okay.
I like
you like Caverna.
Better.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people do. It's fine. It's fine.
I like the thematic touches of Caverna, especially with the newer expansion. I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it. But
did you do the newest one? The one that just came out, or the Forgotten Folk? Because there's one I think that's coming out either this year or just came out. I think it's probably coming out.
Oh no, I meant the older one. I didn't know there was a newer one coming out.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest, he's not my favorite designer anyway.
That's fair.
I definitely respect like what he's done.
Yeah,
but those don't always tend to be my favorite games. Really big exception being Le Havre. I really like that game.
Yeah,
which probably fits in your older games. I don't remember what year that came out.
Let's pull it up. Le Havre, I want to say 2012. Nope, 2008. I was way off. Woof.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Le Havre is a good one though. I mean, I gave it a 6.9, but I still like it. I'm not.
Six is fine.
Look, I still liked it. Look, I'm Board Game Geek. 7 is what? Good. There you go. Close enough.
I think it probably works best with 2 people or 3 people. It's that game probably more than others is a very different experience at different player counts.
Yeah.
So I could see, if you play at a player count that doesn't necessarily, you're not able to sort of grok the game the way you want to. Yeah. I think at higher player counts, it didn't hit for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the way that the game moves. It's like so much happens, between turns if you play with, a higher player count. I feel like you don't get enough interaction. Like if I were going to rate the 4-player game, I'd probably also give it like a 6.
Yeah.
Or maybe even like a 5 or something.
Have you done the solo of it? This one I actually have done solo. It actually is pretty good solo.
There used to be a really good app, but I think it's no longer.
It's not.
It's no longer current.
Yeah, because that came around the same time as the Agricola app too, and Agricola moved on to a different company, and Le Havre just kind of fizzled out.
That's too bad.
I know that. Yeah. I said almost good. Yeah, Dune Imperium, favorite deck builder. I do like Dune Imperium. No,
I'd say that is a game that has deck building. I don't know if I would call that a deck building game.
That's fair. Fair. I mean,
But Dune Imperium is fantastic. Let's just throw that out there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I
I
think
love
it's
Dune Imperium.
yeah. I still haven't done the expansion yet. Have you played the expansion at all?
I have not. I
Rise
own
of
it.
Ix? Yeah, me too.
I came so close to buying that $80 box of like extra junk too.
Oh, I did it. I did
Oh,
it.
did you?
I
Oh
have the
man.
junk. I have the junk. I
I was
think
like,
I think I got it for 60. I think Dire Wolf was selling it directly off of their site for $60.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I made a deal with myself. I was like, I'm not going to get this unless it's either on sale or until after I played the expansion a few times.
Yeah. See, I played it a bunch on Tabletop Simulator, and I'm like, I really want this game. And then when I got it, the deluxe edition upgrade was going to come out. I'm like, oh man, I should get that too. So then I got that too. And then people are like, oh, have you done Dune Imperium solo? I'm like, no, not yet. This sounds silly, but I'm waiting for the upgrade because I want to play with the toys. And then it was just months and months of delays because that's just how it went. And then it's just, here it is. Deluxe is 60, but $15 shipping. Yeah.
Yeah, we are such suckers. A friend of mine was ranting about, you were talking about Castle of Burgundy earlier in the newer one. He was ranting about that, and I'm like, they know people are going to do it,
right? And that's the thing. I'm not. I personally won't do it, but I don't have anything against someone that does it,
right? For
Same
me, it's the bigger tiles. My eyes are getting, older.
I get it.
I was like, oh man, those tiles look nice, and the boards have the thing where the tiles actually fit in, the inlay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh god, I need that. I need that in my life.
Same with the Suro, right? The Suro is the one that people are crazy.
That's a hard sell.
But
I'm not going to knock anybody who bought it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, that's a harder sell. I can see. So Castle of Burgundy for $100 or it was like 99, right? It was like 99 for the one with the minis, I think.
Yeah.
That's one thing. $350 for Suro. I was like, wow.
But it's like the deluxe Suro. You know what I mean? Like the same thing happened with Small World. I remember Small World had like a deluxe that was also like $300, but Small World is still Small World.
Actually, but
oh really?
Yeah,
I regret. Yeah,
Small World has just been in my board game journey has just been like one of those. It's been in my top 10 for such a long time. It's just sort of has like a permanent place now.
Is it still there?
I think so. I haven't done a top 10 in a while, but I haven't had a chance to play that game in a while. I mean, COVID obviously threw everything off.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Other than doing like the app or one of the digital versions, there's really not a way to play that with anybody like on stream. That'd be too difficult to do. So I haven't played in a while, but that game's so good. That game's so good. I love it. That also fits. I think that was a 20. Let's look it up.
2009. It said
2009. Yeah, that makes sense.
2009 re-implements Vinci.
Yeah, I tried Vinci. Yeah. I tried Small World first. Somebody was like, "Oh, that game just ripped off Vinci," and I was like, "Oh, really?" So I went back and played Vinci, and I'm like, "Okay, Vinci's boring."
Okay.
Small World really put like a really nice lacquer of really colorful art and stuff like that on it to make it more interesting. So
I think we struck a nerve. I see a lot of chat.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Surprise anyone likes Throw enough to want a $300 version, but this coming from the guy who bought Azul Giant, which I think was Azul Giant like $300 too, Bryant, like around that. And then people pay for fancy chess sets, I guess. It's true. I remember as a kid, my uncle had the Franklin Mint Monopoly. You ever see this? Yeah, it's like a table built with built-in Monopoly in it.
Right. Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's just but that's just $300 was Azul Giant. I know there's a giant what is it? Flick 'em Up I've seen a giant of, and then Meeple Circus has a giant. I think those I like the idea of giant, right? Because they're just toys that you're just stacking and stuff.
I think there's one for Takenoko as well.
Which, there was. Yeah, there was. Twilight Struggle 2 had one, which it's like a
King of Tokyo
that had a crazy deluxe.
Yeah, so it was, but they only used it at like cons. But like they had like these giant, like big as you, like cardboard things that you could like put in Tokyo and move back.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw that at Gen Con.
if they scaled that back a little bit, that would be something I'd consider playing. But I haven't played King of Tokyo in such a long time. I don't even know if
It's on BGA.
it is. It's more of a nostalgia thing, I think. But
Yeah.
I did actually play it, I think, last year on BGA with some friends, and I was like, you know what, this kind of holds up. There's some good stuff in here.
Yeah, it's got that nostalgia thing going on
Right.
to it. I do like New York better, for what it's worth.
Okay.
The King of New York.
I prefer the original personally, but
yeah,
I felt like I felt like it kind of added to a formula that didn't really need anything added to it.
yeah.
I sort of feel the same way about King Domino and Queen Domino.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, King Domino's fun, little tile player game. You can get, knock it out in about half an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Queen Domino came out, and everybody's like, oh, well, Queen Domino is better. And I tried it. I'm like, it just drags it out. It just takes what's already good. It just makes it too long of an experience.
Yeah.
That was my opinion.
No, I mean that's a fair opinion.
Yeah.
That's some games definitely do that. I mean, some games I don't know. I'm trying to think of other iterations of games like that. Hang on. We're gonna do a. You don't mind if I have a third person on here, do you?
Not at all.
All right, here he is. It's Chris Barrow.
Hey.
Surprise.
How are
Howdy.
ya?
What's
I'm
going
back.
on?
I apologize to everybody for that. So
You better. But no, this is fun. So wait, okay. You said it's been a while since you've done your top 10. But what
No.
if you can think right now, top 10, what is the highest rated older game on your collection? Is it Small World? Is there something older than Small World in your top 10?
Small World probably is the highest one. That's like 10 years or more, I would say. But before I jumped on, I did have a few other older games in mind that I thought were worth throwing out there. So, well, we've already talked about Small World and Le Havre and, Lord of the Rings TCG. Those are all old games. And speaking of overstaying my welcome, I'll just throw out two more and then I'll be on my merry way. But so another game that I really enjoy that came out in actually the 90s. I think it came out like 1992 or something like that. It is Clue, but it's not the original Clue. It is the Great Museum Caper. Yes.
Oh man,
that game is awesome.
I am dying to play this game. Legit dying to play this game.
I still have my original copy. Excuse me.
I had to pull it up. Go ahead. Explain this game. Go ahead.
If you've never played it before, to me, it's like one of the best shorter hidden movement games ever made, and I don't know why it hasn't been re-implemented in some way. It sort of has Clue attached to it, but really you could just strip that off because it doesn't really make any difference. But one person plays as the robber, and up to 3 other people play as the guest, and they're trying to figure out where the robber is. The robber has a pad of paper that he's doing all his movement on. And the guests are able to, so they roll dice and they'll be able to do things like they can, like let's say they do camera, they roll a camera on the die. They can say, can camera number 6 see you? Because they'll be sort of like scattered across the museum.
I like that.
Yeah. The robber, in the meantime, he can disconnect cameras. He can disconnect motion sensors, because if they get motion sensor, they can ask, I think they can ask if you're in a certain room, or you have to tell them what room you're in. I don't remember which, but it was one or the other. The robber can also go to the power box and just turn everything off. But if you do that, they know exactly where you are because you were obviously within like 3 spaces, because the robber can only move 3 spaces or up to 3 from that spot. So you can do that, but sort of at your own peril. But so you're grabbing paintings and turning off things and sort of misdirecting and trying to keep away from everybody. And the idea was actually to play it multiple times, and then whoever was able to steal the most paintings was the winner. I usually only just played it once, so it was mostly just grab as much as you could before you left. But this game is fantastic. Again, I don't know how somebody hasn't taken this and re-implemented it in some way, because for its time, it was really, really good.
All right, you've convinced me. I'm changing from want to play to wish list on this one. Big deal. Must have.
Thank you, because I've heard about this one. I've never played it, and
I'm dying to try this one.
And now he'll get it, so I'll be covered.
Well, I'll mention it to Squirrel. I'll say, Squirrel, I'm thinking about trying this game.
We just
And then
send Squirrel
months
like
later, he'll
we
buy
send
it.
him emails that just with lists of random games. Yeah, that's how we do it.
Very cool.
But okay, before I cut you off, Kyle Rowan does bring up Crokinole, and yes, Crokinole does count, and that is the
Sure.
highest oldest game in my favorites. That's my
Yeah.
fourth favorite game of all time. That's 1870 something.
A bit of the billiards.
Yeah. I don't know if billiards is not in BGG, is it? I don't think
No.
so.
I
don't
mean,
think
it
so,
is.
okay.
I kind of think of it as like a billiards table of sorts, but
Right.
it totally fits. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
totally a game.
All right. You said you had two more. Go ahead.
So another one that ranks very, very high on my list. It's funny, every time I've ever done my top 10, it always hits 11. It's always just sort of on the right on the outside, but I love this game. Kalis, the original Kalis. I think that came out in 20. Oh god, I don't remember now. 2005. Now this game also has a mechanism that I'm surprised hasn't been re-implemented by something else, at least not to my knowledge. Sort of the hook of this is that you have this guy who's called the Provost, right?
The Provost.
And he's sort of the timer of the game. So as he's making his merry little way down the track, if you are ahead of where the Provost is, you don't get to do any of those actions. Yeah. So there's a lot of push and pull because you had some ways to manipulate where the Provost was. If you were behind the Provost, you were fine. But the further you pushed him ahead, the faster the game would end. So you had to kind of take that into account too. It's like, if you're behind, do you really want to push them ahead to mess with somebody or to get yourself something? And I'm surprised nobody else has stolen the Provost idea because he's. I think Rado once called him one of the biggest. I'll say jerk, one of the biggest jerks in board gaming.
Yes,
and it's so true. The Provost was such a jerk.
Well, they did use it for Kalis 1303.
Well, yeah.
I love
1303. Re-implementation of the same game, but
yeah.
Wait,
have you done 1303?
I haven't played the new one yet.
Okay.
I'm not like opposed to doing it, but it's like, man, I already own the original. But
you should do it. You should do it. Yeah, you should do it. I really like the original 7.82.
Nice.
1303, 8.31.
Okay.
Slightly higher.
Sure.
Point higher. Really good though, and it does have the Provost on a horse this time, but the Provost is actually a bit tighter in this one because now the Provost just automatically resets directly behind the furthest action tile, and there's no longer a coin economy for actions, because you could play.
For some reason, I can no longer hear anybody.
Yeah. It was not just you. It was not just you. He went silent.
Okay. I was like, oh no, my hearing's finally completely.
Give me 1 second.
All right.
No, well, as you know, it's always funny with streaming how it is. You understand. Sure. And I joke StreamYard's been great, but there's been times I feel like it's last week or like last night we had Anthony on, and the end, I quite frankly just was useless. The last 2 minutes of that video, I was like, oh well, that's trash. But it happens.
Yeah, that was exactly what just happened right now.
Andy and I tried 2 weeks in a row to stream Galaxy Trucker, the digital version. Not one of my favorite games, but
don't do that to me.
I know people got feelings about that game, but
you had me here. I was so excited. Team Eclectic Camel. And then right.
To be fair, I'll say this. I'm not a huge fan of real-time games.
Okay.
But B, I probably need to try that game again. Because the last time I played it was probably 10 years ago, maybe more.
You have to
your
play
tastes
that game
really change over time.
You have to play that game though with the I feel like
people.
that right people is one thing, but it's also with the idea that like I've learned this from you probably, Ryan, because I've only played it a few times, but like you play that game with the idea that your ship is going to get screwed up. And if you just
You
go
have to
in
be
with
okay with that.
yeah, you have to be okay with that.
No, I want my ship to make it.
That's the thing.
It
You have to be okay with the
Done.
chaos.
Go
You have to
on.
be.
Yeah.
First play of Galaxy Trucker I played. Hated it. I played it again. I really enjoyed it. And then I got the expansions and I played it. There's like a solo variant, and
Okay.
it is so dumb with all the expansions. And I love it so much. Look at that. Here, there it is. 964. 964.
Wow. All right.
Pretty. I love it a
With
lot. I love it a
with
lot.
extreme
Have
zoom.
you-
and that's how I know you like it.
That's how
Have
much
you
I
tried
like it.
the digital implementations?
The digital implementation just solidified my love for it some more.
All right.
It was one of my go-to games on the commute to work. On the train, I'd be the lonely guy in the subway with the playing Galaxy Trucker.
There you go.
Tiny Epic Galaxy Trucker.
No, never. Don't do that.
Can you imagine? Oh God! Hold on. You know we gotta get tweezers so
So,
everybody can
the
grab the little
giant
tiles off the
Galaxy
board.
Trucker would be really fun.
That
Would be fun.
That.
Yeah.
They had that at PAX Unplugged.
Oh
There,
man.
outside of
That's
that
pretty cool.
room, there was a giant Galaxy Trucker, and we were at. It was. It was.
I
so
could
cool.
if I could sit in my own ship in giant Galaxy Trucker and watch it just get destroyed.
PAX Unplugged this year.
Yeah, I
If
have
it's
to do
back,
that.
there
Yeah.
you go. We can do it.
Yeah.
I wish they had chosen different dates for that particular con, because in between the holidays, like,
Yeah.
forget it. I can't do anything between the holidays.
Yeah. And I'll
It's
keep.
just, there's too
yeah.
much going on otherwise.
All right, you have one last one.
All right, one last one, and then I will get off your stream here.
Get off my cloud.
And this one's not going to be one that anybody has not heard of, but this also rings very high with me. Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders,
Okay.
I think, is fantastic. I still prefer the original to Duel, although I kind of hate comparing them, because
Yeah, they're
you're not
different
going to play
games.
Seven Wonders 2-player. That 2-player was crap.
Yeah.
And you can only play Seven Wonders Duel 2-player, so it's not really the same experience.
It's different games for sure.
They're different games.
It is a mess,
But
too.
as far as like drafting and the the expansions add so much to the game. If you've never played Babylon or what was the newer
Leaders.
one, Armada?
Oh, Armada. Wait, Armada was Duel, wasn't it? Or is there one for Seven Wonders as well?
Seven Wonders. So for Duel, there is Agora and Pantheon.
Oh, Agora. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I like Pantheon for Duel.
Yeah.
I don't really like Agora. I think it just
I don't like
bloats
Agora.
the game a little too much. But
For sure.
I mean, yeah. Anyways, that's another topic. But yeah, Seven Wonders. One of the best. It's definitely in my. It's that in Small World. I think will always be in my top 10 somewhere. Yeah. I don't see them cycling out anytime soon. I think it's just really great with all of the expansions, and I think it holds up. I feel like it's kind of gotten forgotten a little bit, and people have moved on. And I'm like, no, this game's still good. Please play it.
Yeah.
And I don't know of like a drafting game that's really come close. I mean, there's been like Paper Tales and a few other things, but to me, they just didn't really quite hit the quite the same notes. So
yeah. Do you have the Stevie Wonder card?
I do have the Stevie Wonder
card. That will
That's
bring
too
me,
funny to not have.
I know that will bring me back to come in. I love Stevie Wonder. So
yeah.
I should, if next time I play Seven Wonders in person, it has to be with that expansion. What is that? The Leaders expansion?
He was actually a promo card. You had to buy him separately, but you can just mix him in with all the other leaders, and he himself counts as a wonder because he is Stevie Wonder.
He's Stevie Wonder.
That's right.
It's so good. How can you not like that? Well, this has been a pleasure, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Sorry it was on so long, but
no, this is great. This is I'm pushing 3 hours. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I could talk board games all night, sir. But anyways, thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
All right, see ya.
Have a great night.
And then there were two.
Yeah, two.
Welcome.
I do want to point out, because I know Kyle's been in the chat, that we're gonna
Oh yeah, Kyle's here.
Yeah,
hi, Kyle.
we're gonna contact the hand himself who sits at the corner of our live streams for Vagrant Song, but Vagrant Song hopefully back at some point in July if we can, but again we don't
Maybe.
Yeah, we don't know. We gotta get it, but we will continue that journey of Vagrant Song. We're 3 in at the point when before the baby came, so we
we
gotten
did
in.
3.
Yeah, I know you've played it much more.
Yeah, but I want to play it again. I haven't touched Vagrant Song in a while.
Yeah. It's the Cult of that we're talking Cult of Anu with that one, but I was joking, I was laughing to myself about Cult of the Old because I've got plenty of piles in here. I've reorganized the crap, but Bus is sitting on the floor over here. So talk about
Bus is so good.
It's such a weird,
Did you play it?
Wonky. I've played it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a two-handed kind of game, but I played it because I wanted to try it. So
Bus is so good.
It's look, I like worker placement, and it's
a worker placement. You can place all your workers.
Yes, it's very important in terms of the history of worker placement, as far as I'm concerned. So I gotta own it. It's fine with me to. Yeah, I had to. So I tried it. I need to play it with an actual human being though.
This year we made it a point, right, where I'm teaching you Food Chain Magnate.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, Food Chain Magnate. I agreed to that.
It's like our blood brother swear of the year.
I know. I agreed to that one.
We're doing one game of Food Chain Magnate before the year ends. Because so I adore Food Chain Magnate. I'm sure it's no surprise to a lot of people. And Barros, you never played Food Chain Magnate.
No, it looks interesting enough. I'm told it's cutthroat and all that, but I'm down. It's cool. Which, like you noted earlier, I think it was you who noted it earlier. It really is with a lot of these older games. They were more cutthroat. Like that was standard to the game. So, like I guess we've gone soft a little bit. We're like, well, I don't like, I want something like I'm thinking of Brew, some like more in the more recent years, like Brew came out. People were like, this game is so cutthroat, it looks cute. Well, compared to some of the old stuff, it's nothing, absolutely nothing. Like it's really not that cut. Now, Brew is pretty cutthroat.
The antithesis would be what, like Cascadia? That's not cutthroat at all, right?
No, Cascadia is light and it's friendly. I mean, you're just the only thing in Cascadia that can happen is I could take a piece that you want, and I could take one of the pieces that you want, but that's not like that happens in Azul. I don't consider Azul cutthroat.
Yeah, well, Azul, it depends on who you play. I feel like if I play Bryant and Azul live, we'll be looking at each other's boards the entire game more so than ours, I think.
Yeah, you can play cutthroat in any of these games, quite frankly. But I like Cascadia quite a bit. So I enjoy it. It's much nicer to you than Calico, which is like a brain burner. So
Calico hurt my brain so much. Yeah, that's a Calico for I still need to do Cascadia, but Calico was very.
Don't get me wrong, I love them both, but I think I've said this before. If you have to, someone asked me on a live stream, if you had to make me pick one, and you say you only get to keep one, I'm going to keep Cascadia, but I do like them both. I really do. So, and I see Azul's cutthroat too. Yeah, Brian, I don't completely disagree. It can be cutthroat, but it doesn't have that same feel of, again, compared to some of these older ones that we talked about tonight. I mean, it's been
you know what game has that vibe, sir? That old because I was mentioning Wiz War, and they're very much like a punch your neighbor kind of thing. Take that kind of game. I know a game that has a lot of take that, like tremendous amount of take that, but at the end you only score points based on the arrangement of your tiles. Do you know what game I'm talking about? Do you know?
I should know, but I
don't.
You
do. It's Cosmic Frog, my man.
Oh, I do.
Cosmic Frog is that's it's not a.
You got me in the gullet there.
Cosmic Frog has that vibe of old school, take that kind of game. But at the end of the day, what's great about it is that it does suck to get punched in the gullet, in this game for sure. But powers are just so crazy. The gameplay is so wild. And at the end of the game, the only thing that matters is how did you place your tiles on your individual player board, and then that's how many points you score. And that's great. There's no player elimination. It's just like Royal Rumble, the board game, and
You went
I am
2
all
hours,
for it.
by the way. You went 2 hours
In
without
4
mentioning
minutes.
this. That's kind of a record for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
2 hours talking about board games, and you didn't mention Cosmic Frog until the end. So
Right there. One of the best themes in board games. Kyle Rowan approved. Look at that. He knows theme in board games, and
Yeah,
nothing
hey.
like 2 Mile High frogs punching the snot at each other.
We need to play this one as well. So
Yeah.
I've watched you teach it, and I've been the guy in the chair for that, but
Look at that. I
yeah.
miss this game. I miss this game.
See, but this is and so we have to tell people. So obviously
And yeah, you called it. Thank you.
he did call it. We have to tell people, like, I think that's a big thing, and I think it's important to talk about. I think this is the right forum for it. Well, this obviously we're a channel that wants to introduce people to board games. We want to talk about board games. We want to talk to, if you're watching this and you've made it this far, and you're even if it's just rewatching, big focus here is we also try to talk to the designers, the creators, the illustrators. That's actually been at the heart of a channel from the beginning. As we've expanded and done fun stuff like this, it's been a blast, especially to see everyone come together, be so active in the chat. But what's really important to point out, I think, is that it's not just about the new and the brand new. Like, we really do want to come back to these old games. If there's one you want to see us cover, like, please let us know. Like, because for me, that stuff's important. I know people got tired of Carcassonne as an example, but it's one of the most played games in my house because my wife loves the game. She loves tile laying. We have all the different expansions. And so the old, quote unquote, is never going to leave in that way. I love Castles of Burgundy, which I already mentioned.
I love
Azul's going to be old one day too, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
In 10 years, Azul's going to be old, and I'll still be playing that. So there's certain things that just stay in your collection.
There's some of these games too. They have that charm. Like, it's not perfect at all. Like, obviously the game, Magic Realm from Avalon Hill. It's the proto. I'm gonna pull it up. But this is like the proto Mage Knight, and it's so backwards. But it's the only game like Magic Realm. It is the only game like Magic Realm.
Yeah.
Look at this game. This is not appealing. This is not climbing the charts right now. Okay, but this calls to me. Look at that. Like, this hand-drawn, wild, completely unbalanced, anything can go wrong kind of game. I love. Part of these with the old games, I like to put on like my fake self-assigned anthropology hat and just like take it in for like, yeah, this is a late 70s board game that you can turn demons into squirrels and then beat them up.
For what it's worth, I was talking about it earlier, my love of the 2-player games too.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't mention my top 10, my top 20, or even my top 30, but I still, because I love 2-player games, love Stratego. And I have my old copy of Stratego.
Yeah.
And I dig playing it. And I got a new copy, and then my dad had brought me my old copy. And said, hey, look what I found. And I gave my new copy to the library because I didn't give a crap anymore because I had my old copy.
I should play that.
So Stratego, some of these games have just held on, in my opinion. Even what was it?
Well, I have Eclectic Camel talking about St. Petersburg. Fist back up. St. Petersburg is so darn good. I love St. Petersburg as well.
So I guess the big thing really here is a lot of these games inspire. You're right. We talked about, they inspire these games later on, and then you'll say, "Oh, it kind of reminds me of that." And new games, sometimes old game. There's a game that got sold at Target, and it may still be on their store, but it was a game called Suspicion. And quite frankly, I always said it reminded me of Clue. I like it quite a bit. It's in our family collection. Sometimes we play it. Now, I'll be honest, when it comes down to it, the first comparison was Clue.
Yeah.
But it was a cute little game. We really liked it. We play this. It was a cheap game, and we again, it comes out a few times a year. So it's a little bit, it's not the same, but again, the inspiration is always there from these games. So
Yeah, awkward guess is that, right? It's like, let's make Clue better. I mean,
yeah.
for what it's worth, I didn't
Yeah.
like awkward guess, but I like what awkward guess is doing.
I actually like this one that takes on it because you're rolling and you're picking and saying, can this person see them? And you're deducing it in a different way. There's some luck, there's some luck
Yeah.
in terms of
It sounds like
what-
Mr. Jack. If you
Yeah.
ever play that,
I have not.
There's too many games.
There's too many. I mean, we have too. Look, you and I both know we in the past like 3 weeks also got 2 new games for the channel to eventually do something with too. So like
Yeah.
here we are. We could talk about the old. We're gonna cover the old. We're gonna cover the new. But I was just laughing about because I'm thinking about, my father's work is sitting in my basement right now, and all these other games that I want to get to the table. But sometimes, you know what, I would never sacrifice the ability to get one of these older games to the table. And older does mean, the last 10 years and beyond at this point, maybe for the sake of this, but to give that up, hell no.
Yeah.
So if you told me I had to give that up, you're like, no way. I'll bust out a game of Carcassonne anytime. And that's just how I feel. That there's one of those for everybody. Electric Camel's talking about Small World. That's such a fun game. If someone wants to play that, it's not my first choice, but someone says, hey, want to play Small World? Yeah, sure. Down for it. So
I mean, it's the nature of this channel, though, right? A lot of the YouTube channels, and look, I'm not talking about anyone right now, okay? But majority, there's a focus on the new games, and I get that. I mean, we did that too. As soon as Ark Nova came out and was getting buzz, I forked the money to Capstone so I can get my copy a little earlier, so we could talk about it on the channel. And but at the same time, like, I want to play the games I want to play too.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the top of the hotness because that's what the top of the hotness is playing. I want to play the games that just appeal to me. I want to play Chucky Mags.
I'll play it
No
anytime.
one's talking about Chucky Mags except
I know.
I guess
Well, I need the online implementation of Chucky to be done better. That's what I need. But no, it's always a fun time. And I just want to note, like, I love this. We're talking, it's 2 hours, almost 12 minutes in, and active group. We got Kyle in there, Electric Camel, Brian's in there. I know, I don't know if Rachel is still here, but I know Rachel was here. A good group of folks really throughout the night. And I do want to note, like, I really do encourage people to just jump in and say hi on this, because we do want to continue to grow the community and make you feel comfortable with that. We recognize, though, I reckon it's different. Like, if you're not on camera all the time, you don't have to be. You can just go to mic. So
true. I do have to highlight this, though. His current favorite game is Six Nimped.
And Rachel is still here.
And Rachel's still here.
Really appreciate you sticking around. Yeah, I will note, though, when it comes down to it, we appreciate whether you're in the chat or popping on camera. I just want to encourage people to pop on camera because we love to, we love to have the conversation with folks who don't always get on the channel.
Oh, you want to talk about another old dumb game?
Sure.
Why not?
That's the theme. That's the theme.
By the way,
so the theme is not old dumb games.
No, they're not old dumb games. But I do want to talk about a podcast that focused on old dumb games. Are you familiar with Flip the Table? Flip the Table.
You have mentioned this name before. I don't believe I've ever actually listened.
All right, so Flip the Table is no longer a podcast. But let me go to their site. It's tableflipsyou.blogspot.com. And their podcast is great because they focused on older board games. Usually, like, here's the Wayne's World VCR game, Right. And where's some other ones? They have some. Oh man, that's their stuff.
Did they ever do the Mall Madness, old school Mall Madness?
They I feel like they did.
Because I almost bought the Mall Madness.
They do a lot of the IP ones. So they did like like the Star Trek Klingon VCR game. They did a lot of that. I'm pretty sure they did Mall Madness. But anyways, like, I like what they do with their stuff because I learn a lot about older games that are just nifty and weird too. And one of them stuck out to me, It's this game called Ice Cube. Now, Ice Cube is a game from the 70s where you are literally moving around a block of ice on a board. You have a block of ice and you're going through different hazards of like salt getting poured on you. It's a roll and move, but you're getting like salt poured on you. There's like you get like a metal washer put on your head, and the last ice cube standing wins. It's a game I've always wanted to try, and it's really expensive to find because it's from the 70s, and since it's a water heavy game, a lot of copies just molded away, you know.
Yeah.
But if you do see this in your local store,
Buy
you
it.
should get this game. That's
Olaf.
Olaf's Ice Adventure, which is a re-implementation of Ice Cube.
Oh,
Yeah. And
under
look,
the name Trouble.
yeah, it's Trouble Olaf's Ice Adventure. So these are the pieces right here. They're different Olafs, and you actually have like a little tray, or is it right here? An ice tray that you freeze your pieces. And my pieces are in the freezer right now. So I'm ready to play this whenever. And you just have different Olafs moving around, and the last Olaf standing wins. And man, it is dumb fun. This is it's so good. And the same thing. There's salt falling on you, there's water falling on you, and sometimes you end up rolling where you could sit in like in an ice bath and just kind of chill out. And
Here's an idea, by the way, for our next charity thing.
Do that one. Oh, Pretty Princess.
Tabletop Express version of Pretty Princess.
I did that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when we're going to raise charity, that would be a one that maybe we could draw some attention to and raise some money this fall. I would aim for the last time I played this game was in college, and I also won.
Did you really?
Yes.
My college game like that was Electronic Dream Phone. Which actually is pretty fun.
And there's Dream Date too. There's all of these
games.
Yeah,
there's Dream Date.
There's Dream Date.
Oh, where is it? There's it's over there somewhere. Dream Crush.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Called,
you have that.
Right? Now Dream Crush is a reimplementation of Heartthrob, and that game was also covered on Flips the Table as well, too. And yeah, one of the cards is Elijah Wood. This game would be great for a stream, by the way.
Well, what I did note, by the way, we do, just so there's reference for anyone who's listening. We did. It was last year was the first year we did it. I had done the channel myself the first year, and brought in Ryan more, and Ryan started getting involved around that time, and the idea came for doing a charity event. So we raised I think $1,000 the last year, but we'll be back again this fall. So I know if you have, when you think about games you want to see us play for that, maybe we should just plan to have an hour or two of just older games and add that in.
Well, he brought up Trois, so we could play Pretty Trois.
Pretty Trois.
And look, Trois is good. Could use some costume jewelry. We can make that happen. We could make that happen.
We could get creative with this. We can.
We have Archipelago 2012, and was 2012 stupidly good year for board games? I feel like 2016 was for sure.
2012 wasn't bad though.
2012, let's see.
2012 was not bad at all. I don't believe so.
Let's do. Oh man, how about 2021 12? 2012 to 2012 is. Oh yeah, Netrunner. There you go.
Yeah, hit on those top rated ones. See what our
got Terra Mystica. Yeah, we were just talking about that too, Kyle. That Nightmare of the VHS game. Like I miss VHS games, and they brought back Nightmare on Kickstarter as for Atmosphere, right? You can like pre-order this one, and it's like legit the original game just redone.
The other one in 2012, by the way, that was on that list. I see you got Lords of Waterdeep, which I still think is great, and then also Mice and Mystic, which I know doesn't get talk about all the time anymore, and you've got some other games that maybe feel the same. But I have that. I own it. It's a really well done game, and I saved it mostly to eventually play with my son, and he's at the age where we could do it now.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's a fun one. The idea that game in 2000 when it came in 2012, the concept and theme of like you got turned into mice and you're still trying to save the kingdom kind of concept, and
Yeah.
it's so cool. And yes, Targi was 2012 as
Really?
well. So
Oh yeah, because I have an
Targi is
original cover. Yeah.
and we all know Targi is very, very high on my list. So Targi is near and dear to me.
You can see my ratings of 2012 stuff. But, well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Netrunner I think is fantastic. Robinson Crusoe I love. Legendary I thought was great. I still think it's a good game. I don't want to go back to it.
What are the top 10 if you look at board BGG on this year, 2012?
We have.
So go to the geek rate. Click the geek rating one.
Well, the rank is the same thing, isn't it?
I wasn't sure if you were having it rated. If you have it rated right now by
geek rate, because geek rating is how they do the geek rank, I think.
Oh, okay. So I guess you're right. Yeah.
So it's Terra Mystica, Solkin, Android Netrunner, Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Lords of Waterdeep. Keyflower.
Yeah, and there's my
Targi, X-Wing, and Descent are the top 10.
Oh man, X-Wing.
Resistance Avalon.
I still have my miniatures for X-Wing, but I don't play it. But that's
I got rid of X-Wing because Gaslands.
Oh, that's fair.
You should try Gaslands.
I love, though, I will say, I do want it now that I've said it officially, I do want to dedicate like an hour or two to like just one of those older games that we can bust out, like that has that real like
charm.
That real charm to it, you know?
You know which one I've been dying to do that has real charm and that I have? Monopoly Tropical Tycoon DVD game.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I bugged you for this one.
I'll play it. I told you I'm down.
Yeah.
I never played this one.
Look at that. Look at that.
See, I don't look at that and feel excitement, but I will try it.
How can you not? Man.
I said I'd try
it. Look at him. Sharp. You know? Yeah, this is the one I have too. The one with like the tin cover. So this game, by the way, in case you don't know, it was right here, designer Rob Daviau. That's world famous board game designer, as you guys know, right? And yeah, Monopoly Tropical Tycoon is his take on Monopoly, where it's a lot shorter. It says 3 hours though, but it's still a lot shorter.
You're winning me over.
It's got victory points.
Okay, getting better.
And for properties, there's no like round the table auction. It's a silent auction where you just reveal your hands.
Huh. I like it. Looks like
see you later.
Have a leaving. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And for popping on. Again, like I said, I recognize that some people don't want to just jump right on, but love that.
Yeah, just hang out
this time around. So that was always good.
But this for real, that game I would love to try out. And I think it would be fun on stream. Might be awful on stream. I don't know. There's probably videos on it that we could watch and see. No, there's only 2 videos. We could look at that. We can be
the next one. You're seeing live content creation ideas happening.
That we will corner this market.
We'll corner the market on
Monopoly
Tropical.
We will corner
Tropical what? I don't even know.
Monopoly Tropical Tycoon.
Tropical Tycoon. Yes.
Yeah. It's only the it is only the sorting by rank.
Oh my gosh. How far down the list?
Oh, not that far. Look at that.
All right.
Not that far. You know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You look at the games though look at the games like though that were done by him, and you've got some of the most important, arguably the most important legacy game.
Well, he made Legacy.
I mean, he and then he expanded on it, because I've been told season 0 is the best by many people, and that was the last one that was done. So as much as people like 1 and 2, I've been told 0 is incredible. Because I guess it's Cold War kind of stuff. So, but yeah.
Risk Legacy, though, was a big deal when it came
Yeah.
out.
I definitely dig it. I like that we got some ideas tonight, some good ideas. We
Yeah.
like ideas. So if there's something you want to see, you can always tell us.
I
Weird.
hear you. All right. I think we're winding down.
Yeah.
So this has been fun. It's good to be back for sure. I think I want to try getting back to the regular schedule of Call Aboard. So we talked about doing every other Tuesday, and I'm going to keep it that way for now.
Yes.
Next topic to be determined. Maybe we'll come up with one very soon.
But we'll just tell everybody, if you're watching this, it's June 28th,
Yep.
as we're recording this, and just mark 2 Tuesdays from now on your calendar. We'll put it on
We'll put it online. Yeah.
We'll put it online to have it, but just mark it mentally and plan on coming by, and we'll get we'll have the topic ready to go. And definitely, like I said, we love to see all you here. This has been arguably one of the most fun things, if not the most fun, I think, that we've had on the channel. Just because
brings me back.
It brings people in, and where are between this and on the table, quite frankly.
Cult of the New.
Yeah.
Well, technically, every game that's currently on Cult of the New is now going to be Cult of the Old in 2 weeks. So Stars of Vicarios, which I think is supposed to be like a Gloomhaven in space.
Well, we're
I've heard.
just let's not give me a chance to talk about Arc Nova, because I like having, I like existing.
2 weeks, Arc Nova. All Arc Nova. All Arc Nova.
No one wants my opinion on Arc Nova. But we will be back. We'll be back, and I will give it to you, Ryan, to close us out here.
So thank you all. Do we have sorry? Do we have any other videos coming up? I don't believe so.
I know in the process,
not announced yet.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of creators corners that I'm trying to arrange, but I've been, for those who don't know, rearranging my entire schedule around travel baseball, because as a rookie travel baseball dad, I did not realize the amount of effort that goes into it. So I'm rearranging. So before I asked anyone to come on, I wanted to make sure I knew what the hell my schedule was. So I'm hoping to have that fixed up, and then an On the Table will be back in June, and then I will go away for a weekend, and I'll be coming back with something probably early August, talking about some of the games I played, because I'm going to a board game weekend for 4 days in a cabin. So
wow, look at you, Mr. Fancy.
That's all I got.
Well, you have fun. But anyways, that has been Call Aboard. Call Aboard. And now we must all heave ho. So 1, 2, 3, heave ho.
Heave ho.